All right, let's see how the stream does tonight. Oh, I know, I forgot.
Sure.
Whoops. I just did. Sorry.
Oh, man. You're such a tease. He said I was going to get to be allowed to
I accidentally
make
touched
us
it.
go live.
That button is sensitive. Good thing it's not a bomb.
Steve. Well, I'm excited to see everybody here tonight. I haven't had the roll call yet, so I can't start. Can't do roll call until Alan tells us.
Alan, we need you here.
I can show off my new white iPad Pro.
A white one.
I got
with
the white one.
Keyboard.
Isn't it pretty? No, I went to the Apple store yesterday. I went into a mall and into a store. It was crazy. It's just crazy. I guess, I don't know. Do I start roll call without Alan?
I guess so.
I guess so. He's asleep at the wheel. He's got it. He's got one job. All right, here we go. We got roll call. We got Alan and Bruce and Jason and John and Rick and Sandy and Michael. And I don't see Wheels.
Rose appears.
Is Steven
Rose
here?
might be here. I haven't seen her.
Is Steven here? Is he just playing? There's the roll call. That's what we were waiting for.
Rose is logged in, but I don't know if she hasn't texted anything.
She is. All right. Well, I think I'm going to just get going and start. What do you think, Steve?
Okay. Yeah. I don't see
why not. I got
not.
a lot of talking to do. Not too much. Oh, I guess I'll save first. NC up. There we go. Roll call. I like it. Okay, here we go. Muting Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, May 23rd, 2021, and this is show number 837. Last week, I told you that we had some listener contributions that would allow me to fully enjoy our little trip to see Steve's parents for the first time in a year and a half. We had an absolutely glorious time. First, we upgraded both of their computers to macOS Big Sur from Catalina, and then when we visited his sister who lives in the same town, we happened to notice her iMac had this curious desert background. She was still on Mojave. So we upgraded that one, and while we were at it, we upgraded her MacBook Pro to macOS Big Sur from Catalina as well. Then our nephew asked us whether he needed a new laptop, so we spec'd out a shiny new M1 MacBook Air for him to take to grad school in the fall. In other words, it was a great visit with family. Many thanks to Ryan Winkler, Mike Price, and Helma Vanderlinden for coming through with the reviews you're going to hear this week. Wally Chewinski sent in a review as well, but I'm actually going to save that one for next week. All of you help me to relax and spend quality time with the people I love. Now, last week I teased during Security Bits that Micah Sargent would be on Chit Chat Across the Pond this last week to... No, don't ad-lib. Read what it says. A little bit more. Come on. Last week, I teased during Security Bits that Micah Sargent would be on Chit Chat Across the Pond this week to talk about the new Thread technology that's supposed to transform Internet of Things devices as we know them. Unfortunately, he's got a situation going on that has caused us to postpone. Now, I'm really excited to learn about this from Micah, and we're going to be recording the week after next, so on May 31st. So sorry about that tease. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I never do that, but I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm certain that we will get this interview done, and we're going to learn a lot about Thread from Micah. I don't think I'll chapter mark the lack of a story, but I will chapter mark the... Oh, Rose is here. All right, good. Echoing, settling down now. Huh. Did you see that, Steve? Sandy said she's...
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't listening on Discord.
Okay.
I am listening now, and I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, I think she said it's just at the beginning.
Maybe in the music. The music always comes out a little bit weird on Discord.
All right. Okay, I'm going to do the TV remote now.
Okay.
The new Apple TV remote is probably the most exciting device Apple announced recently. Steve and I picked up 2 of the 2021 Apple TV 4Ks, not because they were amazing, but because we wanted a flow down of devices in the house. And let's be honest, we wanted the new remote. One of the things I was very curious about with the new remote was how the circular trackpad was supposed to work. With the most recent remote, we had a rectangular area where we could swipe left, right, up, down. But on the new remote, there's a black circular trackpad, but also a black ring around the remote with 4 white dots at 12 o'clock, 3, 6, and 9. It looked like both the circle and the ring might be touch sensitive, and I wondered what the difference would be between the two. Now that I have the remote in my hot little hands, it's weirder than I expected. It actually took me a while to figure out how to use that ring. The center circle acts just like the rectangular trackpad did before. You could swipe up, down, right, and left on the circle with your finger. This method is useful when you want to move a long distance in the interface. Clicking on the white dots on the ring moves precisely one position, up, down, right, or left, depending on which one you tap. This seems like a good user interface This seems like a good user interface addition because swiping just one position has always been nigh on impossible with the old remote. If I wanted to move one position to the right on the old remote, my process was to swipe right, which would move me, say, 3 positions over, and then I'd swipe left with a little less vigor, and I'd go back 2 positions. That's if I was lucky and I got to my desired location in just 2 swipes. Sometimes it was 3. So now how about that outer ring? Well, it is indeed a touch surface, and it's where things get weird. Being a circular ring, it invites you to swipe around in a full circle, or at least, say, halfway around the circle. So let's say you're on the Apple TV home screen. You've got a grid of icons, and you're currently in the top left position. I assumed that if I swiped clockwise in a circle, the farther around I went on that ring, the farther to the right my cursor would go. If I went a little bit around the circle, I think it might go 2 or 3 slots. Halfway around, it might go most of the way across the grid. That is not at all what it does. I tried swiping around the ring, and the cursor got partway across the grid, but then it jumped down a few rows. I kept going around the circle in that same clockwise direction, and now the cursor started to go right to left. I was baffled by this behavior until I did some experiments. In order to explain the behavior, we have to picture the ring as a pie cut into 4 pieces with the cut lines at 45 degrees. So that gives us a top, right, bottom, and left quadrant. If we move in a clockwise direction, the top quadrant of the ring moves the cursor from left to right. The right quadrant goes from top to bottom, the bottom quadrant goes from right to left, and the left quadrant goes back up from bottom to top. Clear as mud, as my father would say. So let's go back to our grid of icons. If we start in the upper left again and smoothly drag around the top quadrant, the cursor will go a few to the right. But as we get into the second quadrant, the cursor will then begin to move a few down, and then a few to the left, and then back up to our starting position. If going across the top quadrant went all the way to the right, and then the next quadrant took you all the way down the grid of icons, maybe this would make sense. But it goes partway across and partway down. I played with this feature in Disney Plus, where I was faced with an icon for each of our family members. There were 5 profiles plus a 6th button to add a profile, so 6 icons across the screen. I swiped around the circle and it went from the first to the 3rd icon, then it jumped down to the Edit Profiles button that is below all of the profile icons. If you want to use the ring to swipe, I'd suggest you always swipe just one quadrant at a time. To go all the way from left to right and back, just swipe repeatedly across the top or the bottom of the ring. To go up or down to a specific icon, then swipe up, down on the right or left side of the circle to move vertically. Don't go too far around that ring or you'll have no idea where that cursor is going or why. I did get a comment from somebody, I forget where it was, but they said that that ring works as a scroll wheel when you're trying to fast forward in a video. So I haven't tested that yet, and maybe that's the only thing you should do with the outer ring. Okay, the other option is entirely forget that you ever learned the ring was touch sensitive. Use the ring's clickable white dots to go up, down, right, and left by single units. If you want to go farther, use the circular touchpad. It's the only way to keep from worrying your pretty little head about all this nonsense. I should give them one thing, though. I can now tell when the remote is upside down. Okay, that was just a goofy little story.
So I was showing the chat room the remote, although most people have seen it by now, I think.
Yeah. Did you show them the ring?
Yeah, I tried, but I'm not sure. My fat fingers kind of covered it up, so I'm not sure they could actually see it. So
Do you know how long it took me to draw that first drawing?
That was a good drawing,
I went through like, what's that?
That was a good drawing.
You like it? The left, right, up, down one?
Yeah, and the quadrant definition, so.
Yeah, if you look closely, it's actually got little tiny diagonal lines. I probably should have made those a little more obvious, but...
Oh, yeah, they are very faint. Very faint.
Yeah, I probably should have made those more obvious, but I used them just as guidelines to start with, and then I realized I probably could go farther with that.
All right, Rick's doing his job. Chapter mark.
All right, chapter mark.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay. All right, so I should chapter mark then. All right. OWC, so this is going to be Ryan Winkler. Now, I always get him mixed up with Mike Price because he's Dopey One, but there's Grumpy. So Dopey One and Grumpy, two totally different people.
5 more, we might get all 7 dwarfs.
All right. So where is his? Whose is it that needs a little bit?
Oh yeah, wait, we got John, the sleepy one. So 4 more.
John is sleepy one?
Apparently, that's what he says.
Where?
I don't know. He just called himself that.
Okay. Why do I have 4 versions? History. Oh, there it is. V1. All right. Let's see here. That looks like a little bit big of a gap, but let's hear it. When the remote is upside down.
Today, I thought I would give you a review of...
I am delighted to bring to you an interview. This is why I script. Can't even say one sentence. I'm delighted to bring to you an... Okay, seriously? Not an interview. A review. I'm delighted to bring to you a very interesting solution by Ryan Winkler. Solution to what? I'm very delighted to bring to you a solution to an interesting problem, and it's an interesting solution, from Ryan Winkler. Might be a common problem. Oh well, enough. When the remote is upside down. I'm very delighted to down. I'm very delighted to bring to you a solution to an interesting problem, and it's an interesting solution, from Ryan Winkler.
Today, I thought I would give you a review of the OWC Elite Pro Dual with 3-port hub. Let's start with the problem to be solved. Problem 1. I just received my new M1 Mac Mini, and in looking it over, I noticed the lack of ports. Problem 2. I like to have a Time Machine drive for all my Macs. I don't depend on Time Machine as my sole backup, but it's a nice tool to have when I accidentally delete or overwrite the wrong file. Problem 3. I wanted a job drive or work drive for items that I'm currently working on. My M1 Mac Mini only has 1 terabyte of storage, so for those larger home video projects, including the kids' school programs, family get-togethers, not sure I even remember those anymore, to be honest, but I hope to be able to refresh my memory soon and attend some of those again. I like to use a non-operating system drive to store these types of projects. As one does, I opened up the Amazon and started looking. I wanted to buy a USB hub as well, a Time Machine drive, and a job work drive. Let's add this all up. I found a 4 terabyte spinning Rust drive, keeping in mind that the Mac Mini only has USB Type-C ports, for a little over $120. Then looking for a USB-C hub, I found them all the way from something I wouldn't buy for only $16 to something I seriously looked at from Anker at $46. Moving on to the job work drive, the SanDisk 2 terabyte Extreme Pro SSD caught my eye at only $333. Really? Let's look at something a little cheaper. How about a Seagate Barracuda SSD 2 terabytes for $250? This was getting expensive fast. And by the way, are you thinking what I'm thinking? All of these devices need a port to plug into, and I really don't have that many ports to begin with. Time to get...
All right, that's enough. Yes, he has done a bunch of them. Yeah. All right. So then I can sound like I know what I'm talking about and say, I thought he had done a bunch. How did he end it?
I think I would. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed.
All right. I'm not going to do a chapter mark yet, so ask me again in a minute. Oh, I like the Groucho face. That's awesome. Let's see. Thanks, Ryan. This was a great review. That's a really interesting solution. Like I said up front, it's a non-obvious solution, and I think a lot of people have the same kind of problem to be solved. So that's really slick. I never thought of a USB hub and enclosure doing dual duty like that. That's fantastic. And plus, dang, the audience decided, the live audience said, no. Plus, dang. Also, the live audience discussed it, and you have a fantastic voice and great delivery, so keep bringing those reviews to us. Doing dual duty like that. That's fantastic. Also, the live... Like that. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Also, the live audience discussed it, and you have a fantastic voice and great delivery. Okay, now save and add a chapter mark. Yes. So what is going to be next? Oh, now it's me. It's me. How I justified a new iPad Pro. All right. I'm inclined to do... Yeah. No, I want to do my next. I'm trying to think of the ordering. I hate to have Helma's be last, but I also really want to get this iPad Pro thing in, so I think I'm going to keep the order I had. Okay. I was just debating out loud.
Got it.
All right. That's so weird. For some reason, the first image isn't showing in my local version. I don't know why it's not. Very strange. Okay. One of the most difficult challenges we nerds face is how to justify the purchases of new tech. Often this justification must be passed by the chief financial officer of the family. I think it's valuable for us to share our different strategies in order to help each other through this difficult process. I'd like to share a few of my tips by way of example in how I justified buying a 2021 12.9-inch iPad Pro when I had a perfectly good 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro. One of the easiest and most successful strategies is think of the children. When I told my daughter Lindsay I was contemplating buying the new 2021 iPad Pro, she said, "Mom, you don't need a new iPad." I pointed out to her that her logic didn't hold up because she fully supports the idea of me getting a new MacBook Pro when the high-end Apple Silicon chips come out. Now I have a perfectly good 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro, but you see, she's going to get my 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro when I get the new one. Therefore, she believes I need a new MacBook Pro. She doesn't think I need a new iPad because her brother Kyle is the one who will be getting my 2018 iPad Pro. Poor Kyle is my Gen 1 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is, of course, perfectly fine for his needs as well, but we never mention things like this in our justification statements. I'm also justifying the purchase by blaming my brother Grant. I sip my morning coffee whilst playing on my iPad in its magic keyboard. My cat Grace snuggles on my arm, and the two of us have a peaceful time together, even though it's kind of hard for me to type with her laying on my arm. Grant is currently at his house in Hawaii right now, and he posted a video on Instagram of his nighttime walk in the jungle where there were frogs croaking. My volume was up pretty high when I hit the play button, and the sound of the frogs freaked Grace out. She leapt up, caught one of her front claws in the hand-crocheted afghan on the bed, and started to tear away from me. I instinctively reached for her with both hands, even though my right hand was holding my coffee. I did get the cat loose without significant damage to the afghan, so that's a win, but I poured coffee in the bottom left keys of the magic keyboard. Now, the magic keyboard survived for the most part, but the shift key on the left is really sticky and it doesn't always work because of it, because he kept having crashes. So that's a shame.
What I don't know is whether if I restart this, it will
pull the video back. Sandy's watching. Did the video come back, Sandy?
Hold on here.
Why drink your coffee black? Yeah, that would be good. No, I have sugar and cream in mine. See anything yet, Sandy? I see Steve and Allison, but Discord sidebar is red.
Okay.
That's what it looks like in Mimo Live, too.
I can fix that. So it sounds good that the video's back.
Yeah. There you go.
A little bit surprised it came back. I thought I would have to provide a new link.
Yeah, that is good. That's much nicer.
Yeah.
All right, let me see where. New iPad? Of course not. Okay. All is back. Well, that's good. That was pretty graceful, actually.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
I'm seeing playback from the original when we started. Let me refresh, see what it does.
So, all is back, but are you seeing new video, you guys?
Okay, I think I see new video now.
Okay.
Dave said I had to refresh.
Mimo Live kept crashing on him too. I don't know what's going on. All right. Places, everyone. Places. Here we go. The original Magic Keyboard is a fantastic keyboard, but it came in black and it has some disadvantages. I've gotten a couple of scratches in it, and underneath the material, it's actually white, which means the scratches are super obvious. I have no idea how I scratched it either. I keep my... Well, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, there's that cat. Well, anyway, I keep my things pretty darn clean, especially keyboards, but I'm surprised at how quickly the black looks, kind of nasty. My iPad does go everywhere around the house with me when I move room to room, and it goes on all my trips, but it doesn't stay super clean looking very long, and it seems to show wear pretty easily. When Apple showed off the white Magic Keyboard, I thought it looked really pretty. Of course, it'll get dirty and probably more quickly than the black, but I'm very willing to clean it more often if it looks good after I clean it. I'm hoping any errant scratches won't be as obvious on the white. Our frequent justification that we use is that we need something faster. In the old days, this was the easiest justification. But darn it, Apple's been making things so fast and powerful over the last few years that the improvements are pretty incremental, making it harder to even convince ourselves to buy new devices. The one exception we have is the M1 on the Macs. While my 2018 iPad is perfectly fast for everything I do with it, I figured the M1 would be way faster. And yes, I know it's supposed to be based on the A line of processors on the previous iPads, but we don't want to muddy our presentation with facts and data, so we're just going to set that aside. As you might have guessed, I bought a new 12.9-inch iPad Pro and the white Magic Keyboard case. I did something I've never done before, though. I bought it with less storage than my previous model. Look at all my